Over a year ago, the Chakitrix fan Omnitrix exploded onto the scene, igniting fan art, animations, and even its own comic. But where is that comic now? Has Ben unlocked any more new unique aliens? And how has the Chakitrix shaken up the fandom? Like and subscribe if you're new. What you must know about the Chakitrix is that the watch itself summons a human hybrid alien that are the opposite genders to the user. Hence why Ben's alien summons are adorable girls. Each of them have their own unique personalities, and we get to see that on full display in each comic issue. To catch up with the comic is to catch up with the aliens, and so far we have seen each of the classic starting 10 as their own unique Chakitrix transformation, each with incredible varying personalities, combat styles, and motives as well. The aliens' new dynamic with the main cast, villains, and allies is what makes the comics so entertaining. However, we can't know much of anything about them until we analyze their characterization and designs. The first alien we see is Heat Blast, or more affectionately known as Heart Blast. She appeared in issue number 1, labeled It Started When. She is a female Pyronite with a very childlike personality. She is very naive and nervous and goes along with pretty much anything that Ben says. In the comic Heroines Part 1, which is modeled after the episode Washington BC, she demonstrates her lack of combat intuition and her anxiety as well, as she is attempting to save a few lives, similarly to what Ben does in the episode. But she is hopelessly confused and nervous, versus how Prime Ben himself actually responds to the situation with confidence. Viewing this made me wonder about her abilities if they were lacking, but her design gives us more information on another important aspect of the way Heart Blast's powers actually work. You see, even though she is a human hybrid, she and every other alien has a different percentage of human in them, with hers only being 10% human and 90% Pyronite, according to the creator Trix the Alien. This dynamic of human to DNA ratio affects each alien differently, as we will see as we continue to go through the full roster. Another important alien to note though is Wild Girl, the second transformation in the Chakitrix. She shows up in the episode A Wild Chase and has one of the most unique personalities in the watch. She is just like Wildmutt. She doesn't speak, and from her first interaction with Ben, we can see where she possesses more animalistic traits, like a pet, and she is very friendly when it comes on to taking head pats, and she is also really protective of Ben and her family as well. She retains a lot of the alertness of a prime Vulpamancer, which is what she uses to defeat the first Vilgaxian drone that we see. She seems to have a similar level of strength to Wildmutt, but design-wise her features are strongly human. This is because she is 75% human and 25% Vulpamancer. Even though she still has strong animalistic traits in her, she is more Beast Girl than Girl Beast. Just like the regular progression of the Prime show, we get a third alien in Ben's first outing with the watch, and that is Diamond Heart. She debuts in the comic The Best Vacation, and she is used to fight off the giant drone similarly to Diamond Head in the canon show. She seems to be very silent based on what we see on her first outing, but her attitude changes as the story goes along. She seems to be confident in battle and with little to no issue in taking on bigger foes. Her design is a lot more feminine than any other Petrosapiens that we have seen in the classic series, and I thought that was all on the human DNA. But she seems to be a lot more diamond-blooded than we may have thought, as she's only 5% human. The final alien to be introduced in this same issue is the female Keneceleran known as Skate. She has a very different personality in comparison to the other aliens mentioned before, as she is very hyper and jittery and doesn't give a lot of thought to most situations. She shows up only briefly in the issues Animal Doctor and The Best Vacation, but her presence definitely contrasts what the other aliens are like already. In Heroines Part 1, we get to see a near shot-for-shot recreation of Washington BC with a different take. Since we already know Heart Blast bumbled and fumbled around, we can talk about the brand new alien that shows up in this issue, which is Grey Matter. Her intelligence is about as important as her design, as the character contrast goes up even higher, and we get to see that in the supermarket aisle where he asks her to assist him in finding the Golden Sumo Slammer card, but she views this as an insult to her intelligence, which would make sense for any sensible Galvan to believe. She also has a lot more foresight than Prime Ben's own Grey Matter, as she convinces Ben to steal a blender for an undisclosed reason. Her design is near flawless, as her eye markings form the shape of a glasses, which is pretty cool. However, she is as sharp as anyone from Galvan Prime, since she is only 5% human. A major alien that everyone wants to see is Four Arms, as she gets her first appearance in Heroines Part 2. This alien boasts one of the most unique designs so far, as her outfit is so different from anything we have seen in the franchise. She is a prime combat enjoyer and about as headstrong as Princess Luma, so you can already know that she thrives in the heat of battle and is a huge show off when she wins as well. And by the way, she is 100% Tetramand. No human allowed. She shows off a great display of strength after she takes down the mammoth. However, the rest of the issue requires flight, and that is where Stinkfly comes in. She has a very unique design with the hair and the flight powers, and her personality fits her style of zipping around in the air as well. As she goes to rescue Gwen in the issue, we get to see a very unique idiosyncrasy about this Stinkfly, as she tries to pull quite a few pranks on her, which ends in a pretty Nick Choice Awards themed way. Even her means of taking down Animo's daughter is a great display of her personality, as she is very fun-loving and playful. A bit similar to Skate, but more of a prankster than a scatterbrain. This might all come from her 25% human genes though. Who knows? The final aliens are nothing like that though, as a major difference starts with Upgrade, or Update as Ben calls her in the comic. Her debut appears in the issue New Form, where she disposes of two female thieves with relative ease. And her response is quite interesting, as she asks Ben to rate her performance, almost like an annoying app notification. The mechamorph aspect of her makes Update very robotic and unnatural, and her design as a purple upgrade is more than just an homage to the reboot, but is actually a very sensible design choice, as the Chakitrix and Azimuth's primary color scheme fit purple very well. Update is 2% human though, so her being more like a loyal technological sentry makes sense, since there is not much organic tissue in a mechamorph. Next up is the ghastly transformation Ghost Girl, who has probably the most interesting dynamic of all the aliens, as just like in the Prime series, she is still the scare. But in this case, none of her memories or plans are being suppressed, with the only major difference being her female hybrid form, which seems to only change major parts of her anatomy. Ghost Girl has one of the best designs, and it almost feels like the creators are biased based on how good she looks. She is scheming and plotting an escape, however the Chakitrix serves almost as a jail for her. She is 50% human. Lastly is Ripjaws, who is a very important, nearly narcissistic beauty queen, who is vain and obsessed with her looks. She views combat and taking orders as beneath her, but she will fight once she has something to gain. Her first appearance was in the issue named United, which is the tail end of the classic episode Permanent Retirement, where she also clutches up and saves the entirety of the retirement home. She is only 10% human, but her actions actually end up creating a new problem, which is a brand new 11th transformation that isn't Cannonbolt. You see, the Chakitrix enters the scan function and creates a new alien, one that isn't tethered to the Omnitrix in the normal way. She hasn't been seen explicitly, but the real value of this transformation will come from understanding the major plot lines to follow. Besides the regular flow of the comic following the storylines of the original show, two major plot lines are emerging, which are Ghost Girl and this mysterious new alien. Since Ghost Girl had emerged, she retained the personality of the High Ecto Lord Zeskar. And with that being so obvious to us the viewers and becoming more clear to Ben, we can at least expect some form of betrayal or turning point in the near future. Ghost Girl has shown us multiple things throughout the comic as well that build on this plot point in a different way than the original canon. She shows up in the episode Hunted, where she displays Chakitrix knowledge and mastery, along with understanding of the bounty hunters like Tetrax and of course Yonix, Vilgax's brother. In this very same comic, we also see another major plotline take shape, and that is where Gwen's stone-faced doppelganger appears. She starts asking questions to Ben about the watch and its capabilities, with this creepy Yoshigaki Kira face. Both of these plotlines serve to be real ticking time bombs in the show, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait to see the way how these things end up developing. This kind of crazy transformative material has laid a huge impact on the fans in general, having both the webtoon and Twitter commenters loving what is going on in the story, along with thinking about what will happen next. The watch itself has left a mark that will never change for Ben 10 fans for years to come, and it is truly irreplaceable. But what do you think about the Chakitrix? Are you a fan? Do you hate it? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, you can read the full Chakitrix comic through the link in the description. Thanks for watching. There is an ultimate transformation that can't exist in Ben 10, and even though